Everest has always kept its secrets frozen. For nearly a century, the mountain has swallowed climbers whole, preserving their final moments in a deep, cold sleep. But now the ice is waking up. In the spring of 2026, as the climbing season began, something emerged from the Khumbu Glacier that no one expected. Not a relic, not a piece of trash, but a body, perfectly preserved, frozen for years, maybe decades. The glacier, which once protected its dead, had just given one back. This is not an isolated incident. It is a warning. The Himalayas are warming faster than almost anywhere else on Earth, and Everest, the roof of the world, has become the clearest front line of climate change. What happens here will affect billions of people downstream, and what the ice is revealing is just the beginning. In this documentary, we journey to the heart of the Khumbu, to the glacier that is melting before our eyes, to the men and women who risk their lives on its unstable surface, and to the communities downstream already facing the consequences of a warming world. We begin with a question that haunts this mountain. How did we get here? 50 million years ago, the Indian plate slammed into Eurasia. The collision, violent, unrelenting, pushed the seafloor upward, birthing the highest mountain range on Earth. The Himalayas are still growing today, rising a few millimeters each year. But something else is happening now, something faster and far more dangerous. Since the first summit in 1953, thousands have followed in Hillary and Norgay's footsteps. But the mountain has taken its toll. Nearly 300 mountaineers have perished on its slopes, their bodies often left where they fell. 2/3 of them remain buried in the ice, preserved, hidden, waiting. For decades, the extreme cold kept them frozen in place. But now, something has changed. The ice that once held them is letting go. To understand what is happening on Everest today, we have to go to the Khumbu Glacier. It begins high above base camp, where snow accumulates year after year, compacted into ancient ice. From there, it flows downward, grinding its way through the mountain's flank. At one point, the glacier tumbles over a steep bedrock shelf, creating the Khumbu Icefall, a chaotic maze of towering ice blocks, deep crevasses, and unstable seracs. This is the first major obstacle for any climber attempting the South Col route, and it is extraordinarily dangerous. But the danger is not just from falling ice. The Khumbu Glacier is dying. Scientists have found that ice temperatures in the Khumbu have warmed by 2 to 3 degrees Celsius over the last 40 years. The ice is approaching a tipping point, a threshold beyond which accelerated mass loss becomes unstoppable. When a team of researchers drilled into the Khumbu Glacier near Camp 1, they expected temperatures of -9 or -10 degrees Celsius. Instead, they found ice as warm as -3.3 degrees. That is dangerously close to the melting point, and it explains what we are seeing now on Everest. The spring of 2026 began like any other climbing season on Everest. Nepal issued 410 permits to foreign climbers, each paying up to $11,000 for the privilege. But by mid-April, it became clear that this year would be different. The cause: a massive serac, a block of glacial ice roughly 30 meters tall, blocked the main route through the Khumbu Icefall. The serac, located at over 5,300 meters, sat directly above the fixed ropes. If it collapsed, it would trigger an avalanche that could kill dozens. The icefall doctors, the elite Sherpa guides who prepare the route, refused to work under it. Hundreds of climbers were stranded at base camp, unable to move upward. As of late April 2026, the ice block remained unmoved. The fate of the entire climbing season hung in the balance. But the serac was not an anomaly. It was a symptom. The Khumbu Icefall has always been unstable, but rising temperatures are making it more unpredictable. Glaciers that used to be solidly frozen at the start of spring are now retreating by meters each year. Crevasses are widening, seracs are becoming more mobile, In April 2026, a team of climbers working near the Khumbu Glacier made a discovery that stopped them cold. Emerging from the ice, a body, not a recent casualty, but one that had been frozen for years, perhaps decades. The ice had preserved it almost perfectly. The clothing, the gear, all intact. It is not the first time this has happened. In 2017, the hand of a dead mountaineer appeared above the ground at Camp 1. That same year, another body surfaced on the Khumbu Glacier itself. And in 2024, an expedition found a boot, part of a foot, and a sock bearing the name of Andrew Sandy Irvine, the British climber who disappeared with George Mallory in 1924. Each discovery solves a mystery, but it also raises a terrible question. What else is down there? Azong Chering Sherpa, former president of the Nepal Mountaineering Association, told reporters, because of global warming, the ice sheet and glaciers are fast melting, and the dead bodies that remained buried all these years are now becoming exposed. The Khumbu Glacier has become an accidental archive of tragedy, and as the ice continues to thin, more bodies will emerge. Chering Pandi Boat, vice president of the Nepal National Mountain Guides Association, says, because of the movement of the Khumbu Glacier, we do get to see dead bodies from time to time. But the movement of the glacier is not natural anymore. It is accelerated, and what the ice is returning is not just bones. It is evidence of a planet in crisis. The bodies emerging from the Khumbu Glacier are a haunting symbol of climate change. But the real catastrophe is not the dead coming back. It is the living losing their water. The Himalayas are known as the third pole. They hold more ice and snow than anywhere else outside the Arctic and Antarctic. These glaciers feed at least 10 major Asian river systems that support nearly 2 billion people with food, water, and energy. That is 1 in 4 people on Earth. The melting is not just shrinking glaciers. It is also creating thousands of new glacial lakes. These lakes are ticking time bombs. When they burst, in what is called a glacial lake outburst flood, or GLOF, they can send walls of water and debris crashing into valleys, wiping out villages, bridges, and roads in minutes. For the Sherpa people, Everest is not just a mountain to be climbed. It is home. It is sacred. It is the place where their ancestors lived and died. But climate change is forcing them to confront an impossible future. Lakpa Sherpa, an IFMG-certified mountain guide, has watched the glaciers change over his lifetime. He told researchers, glaciers used to be solidly frozen at the onset of the spring expeditions until 20 years ago. However, they are retreating fast by several meters now, increasing the risk of avalanches. The climbing season is shorter, the routes are more dangerous, and the work that Sherpas do, fixing ropes, carrying supplies, guiding foreign climbers, has become exponentially riskier. Rockfalls that once occurred only in summer now happen in spring. Seracs that used to be stable now collapse without warning. The Sherpas' fears extend beyond the mountain. Their villages, like Thame in the Khumbu region, sit directly downstream from Imja Lake, one of the fastest-growing glacial lakes in the Himalaya. In 2016, the Nepali army drained the lake because its water levels had reached dangerous extremes. But the warning system built to protect downstream communities is now rusting and broken. Siren towers have not been maintained in years. Batteries have been stolen, and villagers live in constant fear of a flood that could come without warning. As Njima Chechi Sherpa, a former high-altitude support worker, said, the instability in icefall caused by rising temperatures is forcing abrupt changes in mountaineering itineraries. For the Sherpas of Khumbu, every day on the mountain is a gamble. Their lives, their livelihoods, and their culture balanced on melting ice. The body that emerged from the Khumbu Glacier in the spring of 2026 will eventually be identified, perhaps through DNA testing, perhaps through the clues left behind in a pocket or on a tag. And when it is, a family somewhere will finally have closure, A mystery that has haunted them for decades will be solved. But the glacier will not stop giving up its dead. As the Earth continues to warm, more bodies will emerge, more artifacts will surface, and more of the mountain's secrets will be exposed to the light. The real question is not what the ice is revealing, but what we are willing to see. The Himalayas are the clearest front line of climate change because the evidence is written in ice. The disappearing glaciers, the expanding lakes, the unstable ice falls, and the bodies, frozen in time, now return to the surface.